Hey guys, welcome back to the show. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to use negative visualization, what it is, why you would use it, and how you can add it into your sport and your everyday life. How you can create this sense of gratitude and even start to plan for the worst case scenario. So if this all sounds good for you and something that interests you, then let's get straight into this episode. So if you're a listener of this show and you've been a fan for a while, then you definitely would have heard me talk about visualization in the interviews that I've done with a lot of the athletes that I've spoken to. They will talk about it as well, and the power of visualization, putting yourself into a situation where you are running a film in your mind about the best case scenario that you're going to go into. And that gives you a sense of confidence, gives you a plan of action for what you're going to do. It's going to ultimately make you feel very prepared. And you're putting yourself in the environment around and visualizing the people you may interact with. And so that when it actually happens, it feels like you've been there before. So the difference with negative visualization is that you are, instead of thinking and visualizing about the best case scenario, you're actually visualizing the worst case scenario. Now, what it does is it allows you to build an appreciation for things that you have, the circumstances you're in, the situation that you're in, how far you've come, and the health that you have. And it was a method used by ancient Stoics and philosophers in order for them to build this greater appreciation for what they have. And it kind of is this reverse engineering of visualization. So instead of thinking about the best case scenario, you are ultimately thinking about whether a loved one has died, whether you don't have the health that you're in, imagining not having the opportunities that you have, so that when you snap back into what you currently do have, you have that sense of appreciation for it. So how you would do it is you would just simply take a moment to sit and be comfortable and go over situations that you currently have that you potentially maybe take for granted, and visualize not having them in your life. So like I said, it could be a loved one. So visualizing not having that loved one in your life. It could be visualizing not having the opportunity that you currently have. So if you're fearing playing in a big game or a big event coming up, imagine if that opportunity didn't even exist. So you'll suddenly have that sense of gratitude for having that opportunity and having the ability to do it. Health is a big one. So imagining not having the health that you currently have. So if you aren't injured, imagining how bad it would be if you were injured in the moment that you're going into. So if you have two fully functioning knees, imagine if both your kneecaps were broken. You'll instantly feel this sense of gratitude for what you do have and your body that you're in. Planning for the worst case scenario and visualizing that worst case scenario starts to prepare you for the worst case scenario. So you then can put into place a plan of being ready for when that potentially may happen. So it's all well and good just thinking of the best case scenario and running that out in your mind, but it is great to actually think about what happens if this situation goes badly, and how would I deal with it? What am I going to do if this situation doesn't go the way I want it to? And you can start to use all these negative outcomes to build a positive plan in what you're doing. There was a quote that I heard, and I've got it here, which I think was great. It didn't have it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who it is, so I'm unable to reference it. But it said, when you prepare for the worst, you're in a better place to deal with disaster if and when it does arise. It's so true. Like, if you are prepared for this worst case scenario, then you recognize how you can deal with it. You start to feel that prepared. And ultimately, both forms of visualization, whether it's positive or negative visualization, you have this sense of being prepared. You have this sense of being ready for what it is that you're going into. And so in a sporting context, I've used it before. I didn't realize I used it before until now, is that when I'm going into a game, I'm actually visualizing what it is that could be going wrong. Well, what happens if this situation plays out? How would I deal with it? How do I want to deal with it? And then maybe it may change the way I train. It might change the way I mentally prepare. And it is mentally preparing myself, but ultimately I'm running through that situation in my mind so that I do feel prepared and planned. I do like the fact that you can build this sense of gratitude. I think we sometimes, when we get overwhelmed in or caught up in the world we live in, we tend to lose this sense of gratitude for what we have. And gratitude, I think, gets thrown around quite a lot at the moment, and it can be really hard to cultivate that sense of gratitude. And I find negative visualization is a very fast way of thinking, of creating that gratitude. So again, whether it's the loved ones, the coaches, the people you have in your life, or if it's your health and your physical body, or even the opportunities that you have, there's so many ways in which you can look at what you currently do have, imagine not having it, and how you would feel if you didn't have it. So I hope this has given you a little bit of insight into how you could potentially use negative visualization, whether you've never heard of it before, and if you've actually considered using it. I'd love to hear from you if you do use this as a technique, and if there's any other techniques that you would like to know more about. If you have any questions about this, then do go and find me on Instagram at Lewis Hatchett. You can also find me at lewishatchett.com for the podcast. It's lewishatchett.com/podcast. And again, the Sport Yogi app that is out is using mindset, meditation, breathing sessions to teach you methods in how to deal with your body and your mind in a sporting context. So if you haven't downloaded the app, then go head over to the App Store, whether that's on Apple or Google, and type in Sport Yogi. I'll also leave a link in the show notes for it, and it's also sportyogi.com. So head over to sportyogi.com where you can download the app. Now there's over 500 athletes that are using it, and I'm super happy with how it started. So go check that out. There'll be more sessions built towards using techniques like visualization. So if you want to add it into your sporting life and your performance to improve your well-being and your performance, then this is going to be something for you. So do head over to sportyogi.com where you can download now. But thanks again for listening to this episode, and I will catch you guys soon.